Hi everyone, it's been almost a month since the release of a new model by OpenAI called o1-preview. It was stated that the model involves advanced reasoning and excels at STEM, social technology, engineering and math. According to OpenAI tests and benchmarks, o1 significantly overcome its predecessors in competitive math exams, competitive coding, but most importantly, it has beaten an average human-level PhD in PhD-level science questions. To be honest, when I first read it, I was a bit shocked because in fact this would mean now AI will be smarter than an average human and can do research and development for us at much faster pace, lower cost and higher precision, leaving us with what? Like doing dishes? To support this argument, there are some quite inspiring use cases people have shared on Reddit and X. For example, a PhD student fed the whole methodology section of his PhD paper to ChatGPT o1 and it recreated the code for his PhD research he was working on for a whole year. Another person created a Flappy Bird game in under just 4 minutes. Another guy developed a Blender script that generates a solar system in a 3D environment. Here we can see another person developed an iOS weather app in just under 2 minutes. Or an OpenAI case where they solved a nonogram with a visualization. And more. Finally, I got time to test it myself. Maybe some of you know, previously, I used to work as the Chief Operating Officer at the Financial Modeling World Cup, including organizing Microsoft Excel World Championship. By the way, this year event is just around the corner and will take place in Las Vegas, December 2nd to 4th. I will leave a link down in the description below. So, whenever a new model is released, I usually test this with one of the cases from the Microsoft Excel World Championship to see if the model can solve the case. This time, I will be using a story about the Reels case from the so-called Road to Las Vegas Battle Season 2023. Let's see how far I can get with solving the case just by feeding the information to an AI model and not doing any modeling myself. If we can do it with AI, maybe we can win the Microsoft Excel World Championship. Let's see how far we can get. Alright, so here we got the case, and basically a story about the Reels case was developed by Andrew Grigorianovich, and it has kind of some sort of instructions that you can read it here. To access the case, basically I will leave a link down in the description. I guess this is a paid case for like 20 bucks if you want to try it. It's kind of replicating the game of the slot machines. So you got 5 reels and you will be rolling the reels and you'll be getting different numbers. Here you have different items appearing on the reel. You can get a certain amount of points for each reel, and we got different levels with different games. Basically, you need to solve each level for each game and you would get points. And for each, actually, the level have increased difficulty, so level 2 is going to be more difficult than level 1, and level 5 will be the hardest one. There are 5 levels. I've also taken the bonus question out just for the sake of the test. It kind of will have a similar approach, but we're testing just the case today, so we'll see if we can get through these without any bonus questions that are added in to kind of make the competition more fun. We're not looking to do the competition yet. Now we are looking to solve the case with AI, and of course we'll be looking to solve it within 30 minutes. So I'm pretty sure we should be able to do that if we can solve it all correctly. All right. And first of all, I'm going to start with prompting. I have pre-created this prompt before that, so we can reuse that prompt later in other cases. But the idea here is the following. We will be using the same kind of head for every task, and we will need to add game instructions here and to kind of teach it work within a certain framework. So what's here? We give it a role. We say you're an Excel expert. You actually won Excel World Championship 3 times. This is basically recurring back to Andrew and I.
No, ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
This is the only guy who actually won it for 3 times in a row. Let's assume my AI model and AI system that I'm going to use had this experience as the experience of Andrew and I. And then it got the context, so I'm kind of give it sort of a basic concept that there are 5 levels, 10 or more games per level, and they have an increasing difficulty. The scoring works that you need to solve each game. That's kind of pretty much standard. Your job is to assist in solving the task. I'll be giving on certain given inputs, you will provide outputs, and those always either a number or a piece of text. There's also notes at the end, so this is very important for me because it will determine who is going to become the world champion in Microsoft Excel. And best practice is not to ask the newest model, which is o1-preview and o1-mini, to think step by step, so I probably delete this one. Whenever it's needed to use Python for calculations, probably leave this one and set temperature to the lowest possible. So now let's assume we have this predefined already and we start working on the case. We just received the case. We need to provide the game instruction to this model. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the case, and here I'm going to take the instructions I need. Basically, I don't need the first row because it's just general introduction, and I'll use everything else. So I'll just copy paste there. You're creating a game similar to slot machines. So that's the first instruction. Then I have the scoring rules. So I'll go with scoring rules and I'll probably add another hashtag. If you do this in a markdown format, it will allow the model kind of define and separate between the different topics, what is what. So that's why I would use a hashtag for my another heading. So here I'll paste the scoring rules so that the model knows how to score things. Then there is another section that is quite important, which is basically item and base points. Item, base points. And I'll take these two and I'll copy paste them in my Word document. The reason I do this in Word document because I will be pasting this prompt in my ChatGPT and just more visibly easier. And the last one, we need to insert the real strips. So let's get another one. So we've got real strips and we can go with all the real strips here. I have actually pre-created it here, so I don't have those blank columns here. So I'll just take these, so basically deleting the blank columns. Actually, what is important, I think what is important is just to show those all are not the main headings. Those are the subheadings of the game instructions. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create kind of second subheading with using like hashtags, another hashtag. So double hashtag, that will be a subheading. So for scoring rules, we get for item based points, and we have for the real strips, right? So that way the model can actually understand that those are separate. So now we have different real strips, and what we need to do is we need to provide it with a few examples, and I'll go with example number 1. And here I show how my question is going to look like. So I can go with user assistant. This is what half of the model is going to understand. So for user, I'm going to take the examples from the first game. So basically I'm going to say, so here are the rules, and let me do it like this. So here are the rules, and we need a question for how much a player is going to score. So that will be my question, and basically assistant needs to reply with the correct answer, and in my case the answer is going to be 30, right? So that's 30. Then I go with example number 2, and I'm going to take the sample example that we have from the second row, and in my case user is going to pass all those instructions. So let me do it like this, and basically the question is going to be how many points has a player scored in total over 3 turns, and I'll provide those 3 numbers as 3 turns. So 17, 51, 19, and basically assistant is going to say 110. That's the correct answer, so that the model understands that I expected just to give a single number, not just a lot of text, just because it will save me time later on pasting it into Excel. That's about it. That's about my prompt. Then let's go with level 1 instructions. And basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna take just these instructions that we have here. We're gonna paste them again. We're gonna paste them at the very end, and we're gonna take all these numbers, and we will take the example number as well, just because we want to see if it actually if it can get the right answer, right? So if it gets the sample answer correct, most likely it will solve the rest of the samples as well. So I'm gonna just copy paste the whole array here. So let's copy paste actually the whole thing and go to our ChatGPT. And I've been playing with it, to be honest. So this is not my first time doing this. And that's why I record a video on that. So I'll do paste the whole prompt, and I'll use ChatGPT o1-preview, the newest model that is good with the advanced reasoning. Let's see if it can solve the level 1 problem. So we see there's a long prompt that has many things there. And actually here it shows how it thinks through the analysis. And basically it says, I'm working through the player's movement on the board, understanding the scoring, mapping sector movements, figuring out ending sectors, calculating the final sector, assessing rollout outcomes. Okay, let me see. So it's kind of cool that it speaks to you like to a human, and then it provides you with an array of numbers. And let's actually check if we got it correct. So I'm gonna paste this as values, and here I will use a formula, basically a text split formula for this array. So basically a space bar. The problem is that first of all, those are not values. Those are text outputs. So that's what ChatGPT outputs. It outputs text, and then I need to transpose the whole thing to the vertical array so that I can paste that in. So the 30 is the first one, and there is a break, so I'll probably go and paste it here. And actually it solved the first level correctly. Well, the first level was pretty easy, so I assume it shouldn't be a problem here. Let's go with level 2. So now what I'm gonna do instead here, I'm gonna go to level 2. So let's go with solving level 2, and I'm gonna take the instructions of level 2 and I'm gonna paste them in here. And here I will take also, let's hide this one. Let me also hide this one so that it understands that we have different 3 turns. And then I'm gonna paste these over what we have here. Okay, so I Control A, Control C the whole thing. I go to ChatGPT, And actually what I prefer to do is I prefer to open a new chat. Why I'm going to do this? Because if I use the older chat, I actually can do this, but it will take into account all the previous rounds of instructions. I think I gave it enough instructions so it doesn't bother with anything else. So it just focuses on the level 2. And here the case is that you can solve level 2 without solving level 1, and it doesn't need that context essentially. Let's see if it can calculate. Also, what is important, this model, the preview model specifically, it's a more advanced model, so it will take a little bit more time for it to calculate than if we have used the mini model. So that's why at some point, if I see that that's taking too long, I might fast forward the video. Here we go, we are calculating the results. Meanwhile, you can make sure that you are preparing for level 3. So let's go to our Excel. Let's take these and copy paste to our Word document. We're gonna take these, I hope I did paste this as well. And we're gonna, I'm gonna hide this one, and this is the real number. So I'll probably copy paste it for each column because I will be passing a column to my ChatGPT, and I want it to understand that this actually means whatever real we are talking about. So I'm gonna take this one, I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna paste that in here. So we got different reels, different outputs, and we gave the instruction. Right, so it thought for 95 seconds, and if we actually look through the thought process, we can see a lot of details, but we actually don't care here. So we need to make sure if it solved the level 2 correctly. So we're just gonna take these two, and we're gonna pass these two here, and then I'm gonna just take absolutely the same formula. The only thing is I need to reference the right cell here, and probably I'm gonna paste it here, the whole thing, just because I have one hidden cell, one hidden row here, so that's why I want to make sure I have exactly the array I need. So if I'm gonna paste this out, I can actually see that I got all the answers correct. So for 95 seconds, it was able to solve level 2. Let's see if it can get level 3. We have actually prepared all the instructions. So I'm gonna just go and copy paste the instructions, get back to ChatGPT. I'm gonna create another new chat. I'm gonna paste the whole thing in and hit enter. Just double check if I got the level 3 instructions. While the model thinks, I'm gonna go for level 4. So I'm gonna take level 4 and I'm gonna go to my words, solving level 4. Here I'm gonna select what I don't need, and here I need to go and delete the whole thing. Sorry. So I need to delete the whole table. Okay, so I've deleted the table. I need to pass, and again, for level 4, I'll do it for each reel, and I want to hide these things so I can give an array numbers without any blank spaces. So let's see if it can actually get the result for level 4. So I get back and I paste this in. So we got our level 4. Let's Control A, Control C, and check if it can solve the level. That was level 3. All right, so let's actually copy paste that and let's get back to level 3. So again, we have one cell was hidden. So let me paste this in here. Okay, so there is a problem. So the problem is that it outputted the results with a comma. So the problem with the comma that the Excel treats it as a long number instead of separate numbers. So here I'll just go rewrite this with blank spaces between numbers like this. That way we can get absolutely the same array as before and use it with the formula. So I'm gonna prepare the formula. So I'm gonna use this formula for an array that I'm gonna put right there, somewhere here. Actually, let's put it here and use the formula. All right, so it has rewritten all the numbers. So we go and paste the numbers here. And now we need to reference the right cell. All right, so we got some numbers. So the first number is the same. So let's assume that is correct. And let's actually output the numbers. All right, so it solved the level 3 exactly the right way. So let's go and paste in level 4. And again, I'm gonna use another chat just to make sure it has only the instruction that is needed. It doesn't have any history of answers. And here we're solving level 4, right? So again, it's gonna think for a few minutes or seconds, and meanwhile what we're going to do, we're going to focus on level 5, which is the most challenging level for our ChatGPT. So let's go back, and again I'm going to solving level 5. I'm going to overwrite the instructions for the level 5, and here I'll probably just delete the whole thing. Okay, I don't need all those numbers anymore, but I need numbers for level 5. Oh, and actually here is one trick. So before that, basically the idea here was that it has turn 1 and it has 5 reels, it has turn 2 and 5 reels for turn 2, and it goes further. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hide one row here and hide one row here as before, and we've got different turns and different reels. Here we kind of don't show which reel is that. Do we assume it understands this? We can also use it like this. We can say that basically this is the number of a reel for our ChatGPT. And here we have a lot of different numbers. So let's see if we can actually make it solve it. There is a lot of numbers, a lot of text, right? Let's see if it can make it. So first I'm gonna check. It still thinks on level 4, by the way. And if we look at this one, it has gone through a lot of thoughts already. So mapping real symbols, mapping positions on each reel, including ensuring each symbol is in a unique sector, spotting duplicates. It takes time. I mean, it takes time. You can also try with mini model. Mini model is kind of almost at par with preview. According to OpenAI benchmarks, it was stated that o1-preview has a better score. So that was o1-preview results, and that shows that it's a little bit smarter than o1-mini. O1-mini is pretty much used for cases when you need a faster but thoughtful answer, so to say. Here, I'm not looking for speed really. I still am gonna be okay, even if it thinks like for more than 2 minutes, almost 3 minutes. But I'm really looking to get the right answer out of it. So I got some numbers. I'm not sure if these are correct, but now we're gonna check that. So if we go right there and we paste this number here, it actually provided this number already in a column. So I'm just gonna go here, and it didn't match the first example. So I'm a little bit afraid it made it correctly, but let's actually double check. We had the example included. So it was 698. 698 example was included, so this was for the first, and let's actually see if those match. All right, so only one of the numbers actually matches, and we're missing one number actually here, and this might be the case why we are not matching them. So let me instead go and paste it here. So we need to take this array, and let's see if we got anything. Oh, okay. So now it works much better. So it missed actually a couple points here. So on level 4, it missed 52nd and 68, but it solved most of the examples correctly. Whenever you play these battles, you actually don't know if you solve them correctly or not. But here you can see that it missed some of these. So level 4, we can see it's it's already quite advanced for ChatGPT. It can solve all the questions. So let's see if it can solve level 5. I'm not sure how much time it's gonna need to solve it, because it's a challenging task, right? So we go there, and let's go again. So let's paste this in, and again, there is a lot of numbers, and for this tax model, this might be too much. It's still a large language model. It's not a mathematical model, but it's made to reason a lot, and specifically in mathematical terms. So let's see if it can solve at least some of those correctly. And I'll actually fast forward the time to see when it provides us with an answer. By the way, let's actually quickly take a look what we need to do here. So here we have 5 reels in 10 turns. So basically, if you think about like a slot machine, 5 reels in 10 turns. So we roll our slot machine for 10 times, and each reel actually scrolls down randomly, and we get certain symbol here. And if we get repeating symbols, we have to multiply them. If we get different symbols, we just sum up those symbols. And we need to do this after each turn. So basically, after first turn, we evaluate how many points we got. Then we do the second turn, evaluate how many points we got. We sum those two, and we do the third turn, etc. And for this, we have in total 10 turns. And we need to calculate how many points in total we're going to get. Because at each stage, they can have repeating symbols, and we need to multiply them, and this will make us, win a bigger jackpot. Let's actually see. It actually says thought for 76 seconds, but doesn't provide me with an answer. And this is very bad. Sometimes this happens. I'm not sure what is the problem here. Let me ask it. Provide me all the answers in a single column. And I'm not sure why sometimes it doesn't want to provide any output. I was trying to find that, but somebody said it was an issue with plugins, but it wasn't the case for me. So now let me try to prompt it again to actually get the numbers. Hopefully we can get them.
0.
0. Okay, so for the previous one, it told me 0. It probably broke down at some point. 5 reels over 10 turns. Let's actually see. Because on the back end, what should actually happen, this model should switch to a Python code, because this would be like too advanced calculations for it, and it needs to write the right kind of code snippet for it to solve the case. And actually, this is also a lazy model, because sometimes as I mentioned, I used to play with it before recording, and what I noticed sometimes it just provides me a result just for the first row, because it says, well, you will need to repeat it for 50 rows. I was like, okay, go and do this, write the 50 rows and repeat it yourself. And I was like, okay, that's too much for me. You can do it yourself. So here's the result for the first one. Do it yourself for 50. Hopefully it can get me some points out of it. Let's actually see. Alright, so it has thought for 168 seconds. It's almost 3 minutes I was sitting there, and it provided me somewhat, how many, like 10 answers out of how much? Out of 20, actually 30 levels. It just gave me 10 answers. There might be something went wrong, but let's assume we don't know there's something wrong, and let's actually check these answers if these are correct. At least some of them. Please tap. And if we check the first one, actually the first one doesn't match, the example doesn't match, which is quite sad, to be honest. But let's actually see, and we need to find our formula. Where was our formula? Our formula was somewhere here. Yeah, exactly. So let's get it. So we got the formula. We just need the row 178. Okay, and this was with the first example, so I'm gonna enter just these ones just to make sure. Of course, they are not correct. I mean, you can't really get 230 points for 10 turns. You can literally get this for 1 turn. So this is quite sad. It missed that quite hardly. I would say it was thinking for a long time. I mean, you can see here there was a hard thought process going on, but it just failed. It just failed. And to be honest, when I play with it out of recording, I wasn't able to get the level 5. Still, it was too much. If I was, and here you can see basically here are my results, right? I'm gonna stop there because I haven't used any of modeling skill, or I haven't used any of Excel formula to type myself. I mean, instead of just, formatting the answers, but I wasn't solving a single line of this case, and I was able to get actually it's only 500, to be honest. It's quite a low number from that point of view, because for the last case you literally get 360 points. Where do you get the other points? That's quite interesting. Okay, I think I get what is the problem. All right, I got what the problem is, because I'm actually summing up those numbers as well, which are like the totals for each level. And let me actually erase these, because these are calculating together for my total score. It was so I got so little points. So out of 1,000, I got actually 500 by solving it simply with ChatGPT at o1 with the advanced reasoning. I didn't do any kind of calculation for the case myself. But I can see it totally failed over the level 5. It actually solved first 4 level, almost all of them correctly. It just failed on 2 games in level 4, which I would say is pretty decent result for a large language model that is meant to actually speak and that is meant to generate text, not actually numbers. So this new model is pretty advanced. So I don't know how much time did it take me, but I was definitely under 30 minutes. If you would think about, calculating it yourself, if you're not a competitive Excel player, that will probably take you some time to do. And here, doing a little bit of homework with pre-prompting certain things and then inputting each level instructions and getting the output out of that can actually make you to solve and receive decent amount of points. It will probably not make you the Microsoft Excel World Championship winner, and there are actually people that would be able to solve it probably faster than even this model. I'm thinking about an average employee. I think this is not really that bad, or thinking about people that have never used Excel. Now you can literally do a lot of things without even knowing some of the advanced formulas. Like for example, for level 5, in order to calculate this, first of all, you need to understand how to calculate it, but then you have to use some lookups, some rate formulas, sum if sequence, unique, countifs, and sums, and sum the whole thing. And you also need to use data table to sum the whole thing up. For the model to actually think through these steps and do these calculations in advance, that's a huge leap in the computational power. I mean, it already did the level 4 as well, which requires a few steps. Even the thing that it can do 4 levels, and for most companies, that will be enough, because this is like competitive Excel. It doesn't mean that you would be doing these things on a daily basis, right? So this is what I'm saying. This is already too good to be true, and we're moving in a direction where at some point we will get to solve it level 5. I mean, when there were a few first models like GPT 3.5 and the 4th model, I was trying to solve this case. I was going through like level 1, level 2, it wasn't able to solve level 3 and level 4. So now we ended up in a point where the model can solve even level 4, and level 3 is totally correct, and can get like how many? It was about 500 points out of 1,000, which is like half of the case of a competitive Excel. That's pretty crazy, right? So there you have it. o1 with advanced reasoning successfully solved levels 1 to 3. It struggled at level 4 and completely failed at level 5. The complexity of levels is gradually increasing, and to solve level 5, there are quite a number of steps in between that the model must correctly assess to make sure it arrives to the right output. If o1 could have done it all, this would be a bit terrifying. What would be left for all of us? Although it can't compete with the best guys yet, who can solve it all and fast, it can do quite a decent job as an average employee. It can perfectly link up values, solve some basic calculations, and even iterate over arrays. The cool part, it does it all really fast in comparison to a human being who needs to figure out how to solve it. If you found this test exciting, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the upcoming experiments with a cutting-edge tech. And if you're curious to see more, check out my videos on how AI models handle other real-world scenarios. I'd also love to hear your thoughts on O1's performance today. What jobs have you used it for? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.